And that's the end of the headlines, my friends. Now onto the bigger news, starting with death of art news. Australia is in a constant state of denial about its own cultural identity, and I don't mean is the country wide enough, or should we accept more immigrants, or some garbage about Australian values, whatever that means, but how much we are willing to watch Australian TV and movies, except for Bluey, of course. We have all agreed that Bluey is the shit. But outside of our love for Bluey, we're having a bit of a problem. See, Australia is in danger of becoming an artless country, as enrolments in creative courses are collapsing. We already suffer a large amount of cultural cringe, but we are risking becoming a nation that produces nothing but minerals and LinkedIn posts about synergy and pizza parties real fast. Our cultural landscape is in danger of becoming as empty as the desert in Mad Max. No worse. At least Mad Max had good production design. We start cutting back on culture now, we won't even have a cool gangs in the post-apocalypse, as all of that will require artists to have an idea about how to theme the game, and all the art will be stripped out of building a new world if we don't support artists now. It'll instead be as devoid as original content from Channel 10, as dead as Steve Irwin. Too dark? Fine. As dead as DVDs. Is that better? Cowards. Certain politicians and members of society see art as a disposable waste of public funds. But you're thinking about it all wrong. We need to treat our culture like infrastructure, and not like our regional roads. More like the metro tunnel. You know, we keep pumping money into it until it blows its budget. We don't wait until the bridge collapses to admit that we need a new bridge. You know what I mean? Culture is the bridge between who are we and why are we yelling? And we will only get those answers through cultural exploration. Guys, the arts aren't a luxury. They're not scented candles for rich kids. They're not oat milk for the soul. They're a driver of social mobility, a platform for unheard voices. Art will transform not only the artists who take part, but the audiences who take a chance on listening to it. Like you, who've taken a chance to listen to this, the bullshit arts. There are sections of our culture built by the working class getting access, getting money, and the opportunity to take a chance. And it's all stuff that you love, but don't think of as arts. That's like The Castle, that's degeneration. Basically anything by Working Dog. You know, they aren't called Working Dog for no reason. This is working class people getting a chance to tell working class stories. You'd think former working class people like Pauline Hanson would be more appreciative of this, especially as she herself recently became a member of the arts community by taking her YouTube show to the cinema. So now, those are two things that we have in common. We're both redheads, and apparently we're both artists. But that's it, guys. That's where the comparisons end. But she constantly stirs up her anti-immigrant, pro-Australian culture/values moron parade, who will spend their time banging on about how they were defending this country. But they never once stand up for the arts. Instead, they always call it woke and lefty. But then they immediately turn around and use the very music made by woke and lefty working class hero Jimmy Barnes to try and punctuate their parades. Or Bryan Adams, and I don't know why they always go to horses as their song, but they are obsessed with playing horses and marching down the... I've seen them do it in person. It's weird. But you know what? That's art. That's the way art speaks to people. It connects with them and they feel like they are getting something from that art. But guys, without support for the arts, there is no Cold Chisel. There is no Daryl Braithwaite. Did you know Daryl Braithwaite's dad was a plumber? We idolize these guys because they spoke with our voice and they told our stories in ways that the other classes simply couldn't understand. I used to help run an arts program for like at-risk youth, and we kept those kids from making a bunch of poor decisions and mistakes with their life. Yeah, sure, they wanted to do an adaptation of Shakespeare, but set in a modern school. And no, we shut that shit down because we don't need another one of those. We already have 10 Things I Hate About You. Baz Luhrmann already put a gun in Romeo's hand. We're done with that. But we helped them to create their own stories and do their own thing. And it was a great time. All of these people out there claim they want a country that makes an impact. But they won't fight for this part of it that makes the most impact. And it's ridiculous that the arts are always the first thing that we cut when we're looking for funding change. It's the arts, and then for some reason science. I don't understand the order of those things. We slash art, we slash science, and we wonder why no one can imagine a future for us to design. Inevitably, that just means that we make it inaccessible for the working class so that we are only left with, at best, middle class art, at worst, owning class art. Yuck, gross. Don't make me vomit all over the place. Don't make me do it. It'll be landlords and owners making all the art. That's how you get those paintings in hotel lobbies. You know the ones. They don't mean anything. They don't look like anything except nothing. They're not even good abstract art. They're just so the walls aren't blank. And this landlord masterpiece, this will be the best thing that we have access to. This will be the only art that we have access to as the working class. It's called Beige on Beige, a study in passive income. You liking it? Because that's all you're going to get. I'm not sure which is worse, outsourcing the art to AI or to the owning class. Neither of them knows what it is to be human, if I'm honest. I have to ask the working class listening to this, what about your life? What about Australia as a working class person will be preserved in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years? All those moments in time, they come from songs, from books, from films, from paintings. Khe-Sanh. From little things, big things grow. The Mambo art movement, and of course the ultimate success story, as I've already mentioned, the castle. Is the cultural record just going to be real estate ads? Is that what we want? Tell me, how has this country not made a film, a TV show, or God forbid, a Hamilton-style musical about the Eureka Stockade? A real working class story of overcoming oppression that presumably must hit some of those nebulous Australian values that you keep banging on about. We've made fucking 407 Ned Kelly adaptations, but not one Eureka Stockade adaptation. How? How are we not telling our own stories? Do you want numbers? Is that what you need? Hard numbers? Okay. The arts has contributed $67.4 billion to the economy in 2023 and 2024, representing the 2.5% of the total GDP, while mining, which is a larger overall contributor to the GDP. The arts and the entertainment sector creates significantly more jobs per dollar of turnover, so 9 jobs per $1 million compared to capital-intensive industries like mining, which has 0.59 jobs per million, or building and construction, which is 1 job per million. And how much budget do we get? Shit all. Even pre-pandemic, Australian government spending on culture was among the lowest in the OECD at 0.9% of GDP. So we bring in way more than we cost. So that absolutely justifies all art spending, if that's how you want to put it. If you need it, some form of expenditure point of view, because people love their fucking numbers. If financial bottom lines are all that you care about, well, then this makes sense. But there are so many more benefits on top of just the numbers, on just the spending. You know, we always complain that there aren't any good Australian films and all of our actors go overseas. Well, this is why. We bleed the arts dry and complain when the artists go where they can actually earn a living. We say things like, oh, they should do it for the love. Well, how many toilets have you unclogged for the love of it? People want to get paid. For better or worse, the arts raised most of us. We sat in front of the idiot box and we learned about the world. The arts aren't a luxury. They're essential infrastructure for a healthy society. Arts funding would have so many flow-on effects, like reducing crime, taking pressure off Medicare. It teaches us to be more critical thinkers, so we question terrible policy and banned leaders who try to divide us, and divide us under the culture war talking points but don't present any real solutions, who fail to support the people who need the support the most, the working class, the poor, the struggling. This is far from the beginning of it. We have been in an arts crisis for decades, and we need to figure this out, guys.